Hello, today's video is going to go over how to initially set up and troubleshoot the oxygen concentrator that you have been prescribed. Now, first thing, the concentrator runs off power, so make sure that you plug it into your power source. And then right here, this is how we're going to turn it on. So you're gonna push this button. That beeping sound should turn off within the first 15 to 30 seconds. All right, that's letting you know that the machine is on and working. If that alarm does not turn off after the first 15 to 30 seconds and it continues, make sure you contact PD Stat and have them come check the equipment. One other thing I want you to pay attention to is this light indicator here. That light will come on when you first turn on the machine. If that light does not turn off after 15 minutes, you also need to contact PD Stat to come check the equipment. Now, the patient will have been ordered a specific number liter flow of oxygen that you want to provide with the concentrator. This is where you find the flow meter to get to that number. So you're going to turn it to the left to increase the number, and there's a little orange ball that's floating. So if the doctor ordered for 2 liters, you're going to turn it to where the ball has the line floating right in the middle. So if the patient was on 2 liters, that's what it should look like. Now we're going to connect our nasal cannula, if the patient was ordered on a nasal cannula, to this part here. This is our oxygen adapter. You just slide this end of the oxygen tubing there, and then of course we have our nasal cannula. If you're using oxygen tubing to extend the length from the concentrator to the patient, so if you have extended tubing like 10 feet or 25 feet, I'm going to show you that you want to take your oxygen tubing. This is going to allow the patient to be a little bit further away from the concentrator so they have more flexibility in the home. So you would take the oxygen tubing here, you're going to connect it here. Then you will be provided this adapter. This is how you're going to connect the oxygen tubing to your nasal cannula. And again, this is just to give you more room to move around. So by doing it like this, now the patient can be further away from the device and your nasal cannula is here. If the patient has a really dry airway, which oxygen is a very drying gas, we will also have provided you a water bottle to provide moisture to the patient. So I'm going to show you how to hook that up. So first thing, you're going to remove the part. Unscrew it. All right, and to take that off, you're going to turn it clockwise. So you're going to turn it to the right, take everything off. This is the water bottle that you would have been provided. So you have to put some water in it first. You're going to unscrew the bottom. You're going to fill the water. You'll see that there's a minimum line here and a maximum line. So you want to keep your water level between these 2 lines at all times. Once you fill it with water, you're going to put this back on and you're going to screw it. You want to make sure, so this piece here is going to screw on here. This is where you're going to hook up the nasal cannula or your oxygen tubing, so make sure that's facing outward. To get this on, you want to make sure that you line it directly up, straight up and down, and you're going to turn counterclockwise. Make sure you're holding it up and make sure it's straight so that it'll screw on. And there you have it. Then we have our water bottle there. If again you're using the connection tubing, then once again we're going to take this in, we're going to connect it to the bottle, and then the patient is now being provided moisture. And again, this could be for a nasal cannula. Sometimes we're using oxygen tubing and connecting directly to a ventilator for oxygen. The biggest thing that you want to remember with the concentrator is this is your oxygen source at all times when the patient is at home, because you don't have to refill it. So as long as you have power and the patient's at home, this is the device you want to use. The oxygen tanks that have been provided to you should only be used for transport or in emergency situations when the power goes out and that is your only source. This will not run out, so make sure that this is what you're using. And again, it has wheels, you can roll it around, you can put it in a different room. A couple of troubleshooting things you want to remember. Because we have all this extra tubing, this tubing can get kinked. All right, so pay attention to where it is in the house, on the floor. If for some reason it get kinked, you're gonna have this ball here that's floating. It could get back pressure from all this pressure if it's kinked, and then that ball is gonna flow to the top of the flow meter, and then the machine might start to alarm. So if you come into the room, you hear the concentrator alarming, and the ball that's supposed to be on the number that was ordered is at the top of the flow meter, that means that something's going on within your tubing. So go and follow along the tubing to make sure that no part of it is compressed. If it is, just release it, that should return. The other thing you want to listen for is if this machine loses power. So let's say there's a power outage, a storm. This is the sound you should hear. That sound will alarm as soon as the device loses power. So when it is in the on position and all of a sudden it loses power, it's going to alarm. If you hear that and you come to the device and you don't hear it running, it's just alarming, you then want to switch your patient to the oxygen tanks that have been provided to you. There will be a separate video to show you how to connect the oxygen tank with the regulator so you can use them. Again, if you have any issues, PDStat has respiratory therapists on call 24 hours. So again, if you notice that the light doesn't turn off after 15 minutes, or the machine alarms continuously after you turn it on, or it's alarming and it has power, make sure that you call us right away and we will come and check the device. Thank you.